Alright, let's look at the homework 5.1, problem number 1. Alright, so we want to estimate the area under the graph of f of x equals 4 cosine of x from x equals 0 to x equals pi over 2. Alright, so let's look at the right sum. Alright, so we have that. So you have the function is 4 cosine of x, and if you're looking at the right sum, and it's a R4, so we are dividing into four sub-intervals. Right, so you can see that the interval is from 0 to, oops, I can't draw straight, so 0 to, and pi over 2, so maybe that's a pi over 2 there, and 0 there, right? So we split that into 4 equal sub-intervals. So we have that. So this is going to be pi over 4. That's going to be pi over 8. And this is going to be 3 pi over 8 or something like that. Right? So each interval, when you do R4, you're going to use the right endpoint. So for example, you look at the right endpoint of the first interval would be pi over 8. So R4 is going to be, right, the height is determined by the function value. So we plug in pi over 8, right? And then for the second one, oh, actually maybe we should do the times the width, right? So the entire width, I'm going to call each width delta x. So delta x, just a triangle x, right? So we want to find each length here. So this is delta x. But entire length is, it's going from pi over 2 from 0. Then you split that into 4, right? So we know that this is just going to be pi over 8. So delta x is going to be pi over 8, which is just the width of each rectangle. Right? Then for the second rectangle, height is determined by right endpoint, so it's a pi over 4. And third one, it's going to be f of 3 pi over 8. And plus last one is f of pi over 2. All right? So let's compute this value, right? So what we can do is we can just, I'm going to use GeoGebra, right? Then I'm going to shrink it so that I can see what I wrote here. All right, so I'm going to just, right, so define f of x first. F of x is equal to 4 cosine of x. So I hit enter. Alright, then what we need to compute is R4. Maybe I'll just do R4 is equal to, so we have parenthesis, and we have f of pi over 8, and you can do pi for pi, plus f of pi over 4, plus f of 3 pi over 8. And the last one is f of pi over 2, right? Then you're going to multiply by pi over 8, right? Then hit enter, right? So we want, let's see, what decimal place? We need 4 decimal place, so we have to change by go to option and rounding, and we like 4 decimal place, right? So we got 3.1631. So this came out to be 3.1631. Right? So let's type in. Right? So 3.1631. Right? And then the picture is going to be, right, using a right endpoint. Looks like this first one looks good. This one, it looks like a midpoint, so that's not going to be it. This one is a mixture. This is the left endpoint, so we know that the picture is this guy. All right, before I move on, I'm gonna go ahead and submit it just to make sure that we did it correctly. So submit for testing. Alright, I came back and looks like we got this one correctly and we have the correct graph. Alright, so is this estimate an underestimate or overestimate that we can determine by looking at the picture. Alright, so actual area is under this curve all the way from 0 to pi over 2. You can see that our approximating rectangles are missing some of the regions. So therefore, it's got to be underestimate. Right? So we have that. All right, let's do part B. All right, repeat this part A using left endpoints. All right. So GeoGebra actually has left sum function. So I'm going to use that to get this. All right, so here's a GeoGebra. And I'm going to move this guy. Open, all right. Then we don't need to. All right, so what we're going to do is we want to find L4. Let's see, L4, which is going to be, all right, the command is left sum, all right. Then we have, so I'm going to have that. So function is f of x, so we put that in. And starting x value is 0, and ending x value is pi over 2, and number of rectangle is 4 because we're looking for L4. Right? So here, and you can kind of see already, this is the picture. So I'm going to just stretch this guy out a bit so that you can see better. Right? So like that. Right? So this is the left sum, and you can see that this is going to be a way overestimate because you see this excess regions, right? So but the value is 4.7339. So let's put it in. Right? So it was 4.7339, and the picture is this one right here. Right? So this one is an overestimate. And of course, this is an overestimate. Right? So let's check that. I make sure that I'm not lying. So submit for testing. All right, it came back, and let's see part A, part B. So it was the underestimate for part A, and part B answers correct, and pictures correct, and it was overestimate. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.